Hello cavers, welcome to another Factorio video. Today I'm going to talk about Volcanus and why I think this should probably be your first landing after Navius. Volcanus is home to 3 resources that are not available on other planets, and it is your source of metallurgic science packs, or orange science packs. In addition, you can unlock big mining rigs and the turbo green belts here. I'll cover everything you need in order to get started on Volcanus, but it's going to be up to you to scale up as you see fit. Like the other planets, Volcanus has a generous and safe landing area, and the only life you'll encounter here are enormous demolisher worms who will completely ignore you in your landing area. In fact, the demolishers will completely ignore you unless you do damage to them or build in their territory. Demolishers are immune to lasers, impact, and fire, and they are partially resistant to every other type of damage. They are most vulnerable to poison, although they still resist 10% of it. Not only that, but they also have massive amount of health and they can regenerate really fast. There is a way of cheesing the small ones, but I'll get back to that soon. Let's first talk about what you're going to need to get your factory going on Volcanus. As I said, Volcanus is home to 3 resources that are exclusively sourced there. Lava and calcite are readily accessible after you land, whereas accessing tungsten is going to require destroying at least 1 demolisher. For suggestions on general items to get started on other planets, you should watch my Space Platforms video, where I go over that. In addition to the basic items, you should also bring a stack or 2 of steam turbines, pump jacks, pipes, and underground pipes. You're going to want a stack of electronic circuits, 2 stacks of refined concrete, and 3 stacks of steel plates. You should also bring a stack of mining drills and an oil processing plant. Put down your cargo landing pad and then put down your solar panels and batteries. The map will show you areas that are outlined in red, and each one of these is a territory of a demolisher worm. Demolishers will aggro on any structures that are built on their territories, so don't build anything in the red areas. Once you have some power, locate any calcite and coal deposits in your starting area and start mining them. Don't put down all your miners though, as you're going to need to conserve power initially. Mining calcite will unlock calcite processing recipes that you're going to need to make progress. As you roam the area, you should also manually mine any rocks and trees that you come across. This will give you an initial starting inventory. You're going to need both of those. Mining a large rock will give you access to the carbon recipe and the tungsten carbide recipe. Okay, so now that you're mining coal and calcite, you can start thinking about shoring up your power. You're going to need to find the sulfuric acid geyser that is on the starting area and place pump jacks on them. Connect them to a chemical plant and make some steam using acid neutralization, which requires sulfuric acid and calcite. This process is going to make 10,000 steam every 5 seconds at 500 degrees. Turbines use 300 steam per 5 seconds, so one plant can feed a lot of turbines. Connect your turbines to the steam plant and you should have plenty of power. Note that depending on how many solar panels you brought, you may need to only place a few pump jacks initially just to get your initial steam going. Also, don't use all of your pipes. You're going to need more of them soon. After you have your power base set up, the next thing you want to do is put down a second steam plant, connect it to another plant, and start making water through the steam condensation recipe. You're also going to need to liquefy some coal, which requires coal, sulfuric acid, and calcite. This will make heavy oil, which you can then turn into lubricant. Lubricant is a necessary ingredient for foundries, so you should start making it. You could alternatively put it in a can and ship it down to the planet from Navius, but it's pretty easy to just make it directly on Volcanus. In any case, you'll also want to put down a factory and make some tungsten carbide. Doing this will unlock the Foundry recipe. Now you can ship down the electronic circuits, refined concrete, and steel plates so that you can manufacture your first 6 foundries. Hello, future caver here. One note I forgot to mention is you're gonna need 7 steel plates in order to make an offshore pump so that you can get lava from the lava pool. You can just quickly do this with a stone furnace. Once you have your basic foundries down, you should concentrate on creating the material you need to make more foundries. That means that you want to dedicate one foundry to molten iron, one foundry to molten copper. Then you're going to want one foundry to make copper cables, one foundry to make steel plates, and one foundry to make iron plates. Foundry recipe is going to give you rocks as a waste product, so you should quickly set up a concrete creation chain so that you're sinking the rocks that you are producing, or your foundries are going to quickly grind to a halt. You're going to need refined concrete to make more foundries in any case. Then you can start manufacturing electronic circuits, and after that your only constraint is going to become tungsten, which I'm going to get to shortly. Since tungsten is a problem, I suggest you don't try to scale up too much just yet. Crafting foundries will unlock the big mining drill technology, and this should be your next goal. I think by now it should be pretty obvious how to get these going, so I'm not going to cover how to manufacture these. But big mining drills are required to mine tungsten. Once you're making the big mining drills, you should also make a train engine and a train car, a bunch of train tracks and some elevator rails, and a couple of train stations. Now is the time to find the tungsten deposit. If you are very lucky, one's going to be easily visible from your safe area or maybe just using radar. But in my case, I had to explore on foot. You can pretty much ignore the demolishers, even if you have laser turrets on, as they're not going to take any damage from the lasers. Ideally, you want to find tungsten deposit that is within a small demolisher's territory, and also ideally, that territory borders on the landing zone. If that's not the case, then try to find the biggest deposit closest to you and figure out how many and how big of a demolisher that you have to destroy. Killing demolishers requires the ability to deal out massive and consistent damage. If Volcanus is your starting planet, the best approach is to use massive amounts of turrets alongside with a tank. You can use the tank to lead the worm down a lane of turrets and hopefully deal enough damage to destroy it. Use the regular shells, as these deal 1000 damage per shot. You need to stay a good distance away from it, even as small demolishers can easily one-shot the tank. You can also maybe use the fact that demolishers will blindly ram any building that you build on their territory against them. Small demolishers only have 30,000 hit points, and nuclear power plants burning at 1000 degrees will deal damage. If you're going to use this method, you're going to need 3 power plants, nuclear power plants. You're also going to need some nuclear fuel. About 5 pellets per nuclear plant is probably going to do it, but just to be safe, maybe put 8. Then, once you have them in your inventory, you should scout out the basic position of the demolisher that you're trying to destroy, and then choose a location well away from it and away from any resources that you want to mine. Put down 3 nuclear power plants in a row and feed them between 5 and 10 nuclear fuel pellets. As soon as the first one is put down, the demolisher is going to turn and start making a beeline for it. So the nuclear power plants need to be far enough away from the worm to have enough time to reach 1000 degrees. Make sure you save your game before you start so that you can reposition if you need to. Medium demolishers have 100,000 hit points. Large ones have 300,000. I have not tried to scale up this experiment to try and kill them this way, but at this point, the amount of resources necessary would be staggering. Anyways, once this is set up, I suggest you back up a small distance and watch the fireworks. After the demolisher is destroyed, you can now either repeat the process with the next small worm if you need to, or you can just start mining the tungsten. Lay down your rails and set up your big drills on the tungsten deposit, and you'll quickly have thousands of it pouring in. At this point, you should have everything you need to scale up and start making metallurgic science packs, set up rocket silos, and everything else that you can make of Volcanus. I hope that this video has either been helpful or entertaining or both. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.